All hell is breaking loose, and which is why you need to share this video and like this video. Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 195. Oh my god, it's going to 200 soon, for the 6th of September. So a lot of crazy stuff happening today, or rather yesterday, so and today actually. So anyway, let's start off without further ado. Let's go down to the Southern Front. At the Southern Front, the Great Kherson Offensive is still going, but it's actually not at the same intensity as it was a few days ago. So at the Mykolaiv Front, so this Mykolaiv city, if you are new, this is Mykolaiv city, and the Mykolaiv region is rather huge. It's actually this entire area here. This is Mykolaiv region. So at the Mykolaiv Front, which includes the Kherson area here, according to on the Twitter account Ukraine Map, Ukraine_map, or also known as Ukraine Better Map, they reported that the Ukrainian forces have captured this village of Shmidtove. So this is not reported anywhere else. This is only from him. So yeah. So anyway, I just report it. Usually he have contacts in Kherson. He can call and confirm. So he is a source for certain parts of Ukraine. So usually he will inform in the note that is confirmed by phone call, but this one is not. But anyway, I'll just indicate it because it's still intel. So otherwise, you can see that the previous offensive by the Ukrainians from the Zaporizhzhia region, where they launched an attack against Blahodatne, Zeleny High, and Ternovy Podi by the Ukrainian forces, has not worked out, and currently the front line has not really changed. Although it is still unclear if Ternovy Podi is actually under Russian or Ukrainian. My leaning currently is under Russian control, but previously we do have the Ukrainians claiming the control by reporting that the position was bombarded by Russian artillery. Otherwise, there is nothing much at the Mykolaiv Front. At the oh sorry, this is also Mykolaiv Front. There is actually a Su-25 shot down over the other Blahodatne over here, which also suggests that the fighting here is still ongoing, but it's probably what they call positional. So basically trench warfare. So they are both sides just holding positions, and they are trying to maneuver, little by little into a better position. Not really that kind of offensive where they actually try to aggressively take an opposition position. So it's positional warfare. So basically they just maneuvering into better positions vis-a-vis the opponents, which means the falling of a fighter or a bomber in this region means the fighting is still pretty fierce, that the Ukrainians are actually calling in airstrikes. Otherwise, there's nothing else here. So moving on to the Davydiv Brid Front, which is where many of the people who are into the Kherson offensive are most excited about. The latest development was that the Ukrainians have captured the Bilohirka. So this capture probably goes back all the way to at least the 5th of September, where they previously have reported Russian shelling, and this capture is actually confirmed because the Ministry of Defense of Russia actually reported a high precision strike on Ukrainian troops at the position of Bilohirka, or actually Bilohirka. So this actually confirms the capture of Bilohirka, and otherwise On the Kostromka, previously I've reported that the Russian forces have recaptured this Kostromka region. However, it is immediately disputed by the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense, as they reported Russian shelling on this position of Kostromka. Otherwise, despite the so-called the information or rumors of or intel that the Ukrainian forces over this area is heavily bombarded by Russian artillery and air force, the Ukrainians seems to continue to hold these positions even at Bezimene, as they reported Russian shelling in this position, which means the Ukrainians are still claiming positions at Bezimene. There is intel information coming out from the pro-Russian source Ryba, where the Russian Air Force have destroyed three separate crossings, which is all the crossings the Ukrainians are using to cross the Inhulets River here. And the three crossings probably, is Velika Atakove and near Andrivka, and probably there's maybe another one closer to Bilohirka, perhaps. I have no idea where is the exact crossings, or it could be the one at Ternivka. So anyway, according to this information, the three crossings are all destroyed by the Russian airstrikes. Then the Russian Ministry of Defense also reported some partial Ukrainian withdrawal due to high losses in the area of Bilohirka, as well as in Velika Atakove. So this reported withdrawal or abandonment of their positions from the 57 Mechanized Infantry Brigade. But of course, when it comes to this sort of information, just take it with a pinch of salt. From our coverage, if you have followed my coverage closely, you will have known that this kind of report tends to not have any significance on the changing of the front line. Usually the withdrawal don't come with a exchange of control over that settlement that the troops reportedly have abandoned the position. So it just goes against logic. But anyway, this is the report. This is the information reported by a Ministry of Defense. This is as high as you can go in terms of legitimacy. So I report it. There is a Ukrainian MiG-29 shot down over Tokareve. So this also signifies that the fight is still pretty fierce. There is also information of Russian Su-25 and the Kar-52 shot down by Ukrainian air defense. However, the location of the shoot down is actually unclear, as the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense never reports on exact locations of this sort of things. So yeah. So we are now at the Davydiv Brid Front, at the Kryvyi Front. Sorry, a bit tired. So at the Kryvyi Front, fighting continues over at these three settlements where the fiercest fighting is ongoing, at Vysokopillya, Olhyne, as well as Arkhanhelske. So in terms of the Arkhanhelske situation, is more like a positional battle, which means that the Russian forces might be actually settling into just maintaining position, similar to what happened in Marinka on the western side of Donetsk, where they just kept that, they share that village for months. No one can actually capture it. Arkhanhelske might become the next Marinka. So the situation at Olhyne is also a stalemate between the two sides, where the Ukrainians are unable to break the Russian lines, and the Russians counter offensive are not able to capture the Ukrainian lines as well. So currently they are locked in this struggle, and there's no clear results in terms of this. So otherwise, there's no other changes in terms of the front lines here, and there's no clarity regarding Lyubimivka, Petrivka, and Krashenivka situation over here at the Kryvyi Front. Moving on to the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant region, there is shelling reported at Enerhodar itself. The shelling hits a transformer substation, and then the entire city of Enerhodar actually now is without electricity. The Russians have initiated counter battery fire against the shelling from Ilinka. I believe this is Ilinka, correct, as well as Mahanets. So this exchange of artillery fire continues at Enerhodar and the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant region. Moving on to the Zaporizhzhia line. At the Zaporizhzhia line, there is no active offensive currently at this moment. As per yesterday, I have reported the Novoandrivka and Novodanivka has been declared as captured by the Ukrainian forces. So in case you didn't watch the summary yesterday, sorry, just want to say sorry for the audio quality yesterday. Can't be helped, and I didn't show the face because it was very dark, so the lighting is also very terrible. There's no point showing my face. So now I'm back in Singapore, ahead of plans. So there's a change of schedule, so I'm back here earlier than expected. So otherwise, there is no other changes around this region. The capture of Hryhorivka claims, and as well as at the Novopil, these two is still considered rumors at this moment, where it cannot be confirmed even by Ryba, the pro-Russian source, which is the most reliable source outside of the two Ministry of Defense. Currently, there's no intel about this alleged capture. Probably, my feeling is that the Russians did not capture Novopil nor Hryhorivka. I think this is my guess. Moving on to the Donetsk front. At the Donetsk front, there is no offensive in this region. Only bombardments, as you can see, all the red explosion icons. And this carry on over to Marinka, Krasnohorivka. No offensive. At the Pisky region, at the northwest of Donetsk city, the offensive, there is only fighting reported at Opytne. This is the only one. This is reported by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. There's an attempt by the Ukrainians to actually launch an offensive from Vodian southwards. However, the armored personnel carrier, which if I'm not wrong is an M117, actually hit a landmine and got destroyed. So that ends the offensive, which is why instead of a typical cross sword icon, this is actually an axe, because it's not really fighting, but it's also not exactly insignificant. So I just leave it as is. The front line currently looks something like this. Where the Ukrainians actually have positions south of Opytne and on the western side of the air base. It is currently unclear if the Russians have retaken these positions after some rumors of the Ukrainian troops over here bouncing, but not so sure. Similarly, no idea about Vesela, and the situation at Spartak and what is this called, Butivka mine, is unclear. The situation is unclear because there is this report of fighting at Opytne, which should means that Spartak should be under Russian control. So this is a bit conflicting. So we will need some time to actually let this intel clear out. At the Avdiivka region, also no ground offensive, and there's nothing going on in Donetsk front because all the love has gone to Balakliya and the southern front. So no love for Donetsk. And then we are now at the Bakhmut front. At the Bakhmut front, there is no ground offensive around Mayos area. The most significant information from the Bakhmut front is the capture of Kodema. This is actually announced by the Russian Ministry of Defense. As I've mentioned before, the Russian Ministry of Defense very seldom announce their captures. So when they do announce the capture, it must be something rather significant to at least the populace or the population within the Donetsk People's Republic. So the forces that was fighting at Kodema is actually the Wagner private military contractors, the Wagner PMC, and they finally defeated the numerically the numerical superior the Ukrainian forces that had more people. So that is quite a feat, if you ask me. So they have captured, but not sure how much more can they go, because if the Ukrainians gonna do a Kodema level kind of defense in every single town or villages, it must be very, very tiring for the Russian forces trying to move forward and recapture the entire of Donetsk. And moving on to Zaitseve. At Zaitseve, the fighting continues as part of this chain of settlements that is reported by the Ukraine Defense Ministry that fighting is still ongoing. The fighting also continues at Vesela Dolyna, at Bakhmut, and Bakhmutske, as well as at Soledar. There is no significant information or something unique to talk about. It's just the fighting is still ongoing. Nothing very special. Over here at the Siversk Front. At the Siversk Front, the hostilities starts again over at Hryhorivka, the town just next to Luhansk People's Republic, or the Luhansk Oblast. The Russians tried to attack Hryhorivka again. This is notoriously difficult to capture small little town. Somehow it's just so difficult. The Russians have tried to capture this small little town for 2 months. No results. So the little brother here continues to be really tiny. Moving on from the Siversk Front, and we are into the Izyum Front. So this is Izyum city, and the Izyum Front is actually rather huge. So at the Izyum Front, in fact, we can even call this a Slovian front if we want to, and then we can actually make this Izyum Front to be only here. But anyway, you understand, I understand, I know, can already. So there is this significant information reported by Chris759, the super duper uber master geolocator on Twitter. He actually geolocated a video of Ukrainian forces in a village, and it was geolocated to be within Staryi Karavan, and which means that the Ukrainian forces have actually crossed from Hryhorodok or Sloviansk region, have crossed the river, the Siversky Donetsk River, and recaptured Staryi Karavan. In fact, they are very relaxed. The video is just them strolling and walking in through the village, which means that Brusivka is likely to be also unoccupied given the situation here. And this actually corroborates with the Russian Ministry of Defense mapping. In the Russian Ministry of Defense mapping, the way they in the very vague mapping of their front lines, they actually left this entire area unoccupied. So Staryi Karavan, Brusivka, Dibrova, Olhyne, and Yampil. This entire region here is all listed as unoccupied by the Russian forces. They actually left a big gap here. So I'm surprised that they are honest. They are really honest about where their forces are. Apparently, the Russian forces is really concentrating just around Lyman, and I'm not even sure if they are at Yampil. So this entire area is actually undefended, and the Ukrainian forces have just walked in and captured Staryi Karavan. So Lyman is, or Krasny Lyman, or crispy lemon. Long time we haven't heard of crispy lemon, right? So we might actually see a lot more action over at the crispy lemon here, the Lyman region here, because if there's a crossing here, that means the Ukrainians will be able to mess up a big force and to conduct certain offensive. This information just only just saw it before I actually wanted to do the summary video now, and previously I only had this information where the Ministry of Defense of Russia reported shelling or destroying a ammunition dump or depot near Lyman, which I was shocked that Lyman, because Lyman is under Russian control, is over here, and is not particularly next to the front line, and then the Ukraine destroying something near Lyman sounds rather significant, which means the Ukrainian forces have already come close to Lyman. So I'm not sure the exact location of this shelling. They only say near Lyman. I'm currently leaning towards thinking that it's probably around Staryi Karavan. So this is another area we need to watch. As we move on, there might be a break over here as well, and then we might see the Ukrainian forces run riot. So there's no other offensive over here on this Stegosaurus back here, and yeah, this is in fact this Stegosaurus. This is the head, you know, it's looking upwards. Yeah, so beautiful. So anyway, that's all from the Izyum front. Over at the Balakliya front, so I have done a live stream. Basically is a quick update that is in a live stream format. Do check it out. I see if I will remember. I will put the link on top. So do check it out. Actually, you can also check it out, you know, at the very end of this video. I will put it, you know, in one of these boxes where you can click and continue to watch. So on this Balakliya front, detailed report on this, an analysis of the Balakliya offensive. I'm calling this the Great Balakliya Offensive by the Ukrainian forces. So I will not go into details here. I will just cover the summary of it. So the Ukrainian forces over at Hryhorivka has captured Bayrak and Nova Hryhorivka. So these captures is from the 7th of September. Remember, this summary is actually for the 6th of September, but because this is the latest information and I see it, so I put it into this mapping. Otherwise, this is actually happening just over the past 12 hours. So these are all very significant changes into the front line. So Hryhorivka captured Bayrak and Nova Hryhorivka, and then they are now at the outskirts of Balakliya in the south, and towards the north or towards the northwest or the west side of Balakliya, the Ukrainians actually launched an offensive from Pryshep towards Verbivka on the 6th. So this is before the one at the south. So they actually launched an attack on Verbivka, and by the end of the day, they have captured Verbivka, and they are now fighting for the crossing at the river. Where's the river? Yeah, at this bridge here, they are trying to capture this bridge. The bridge is not destroyed, as the Russians don't really have a destroy the bridge in where we want to use kind of habit. So they are fighting for this bridge. There is over this Seredina Balakliya river. So the fighting is still ongoing. Reinforcement was sent as a result of this to Balakliya to help to reinforce this region. However, the Ukrainians are not going to stay still. They actually sent another force. They went they flanked northward, and then they captured Yakov and Kove, and at the end of the day, this is the two towns that was captured on the 6th of September. And the capture is so quick, and which is a sign that there's a lack of defenses or defending or defenders at all these positions. During the night and throughout the next day, the Ukrainian forces just went riot. They just blitz across the entire area here. They captured Voshchivka, Todeno, Ivanivka, Kalinivka, Taranushine, and they also even captured Volokivka. So if you watch the update on this Balakliya offensive, the mapping at that moment I still have not listed Bilohirka as captured. However, based on information highlighted to me by one of the viewers on Twitter, they actually points me to this geolocation of a video of Ukrainian troops at the junction over here. At the junction over here, they were at this junction, and the video was shot of them, and it was geolocated at Bilohirka, which means that the Ukrainian forces have captured this important crossroad town of Bilohirka. And the Ukrainian forces have continued to move northeastward, and they are being stopped by Russian forces over at the Semenivka town. So the fighting is currently over at Semenivka, and this actually only happens because of the Russian reinforcement that was sent hastily, probably from Shevchenkove or probably towards Shevchenkove region. So the Russians apparently have very weak defenses. They are not really defending in depth, nor have a cohesive, strongly entrenched line. So the Ukrainian forces just bleeds across the entire region and captured massive number of settlements. This is not the first time we have seen something like this. So things are not going to look very good for the Russian forces. If you want to know more, watch the update on this Balakliya Offensive. So moving on to the Kharkiv Front. At the Kharkiv Front, we have bombardment at Kryvyi, and this is actually part of the bombardment that was hitting this was, how do you pronounce this? Yavyske, Pryshev, and Andrivka. So these bombardments were actually in as a result of this Ukrainian offensive. So these are actually defensive airstrikes. So Kryvyi might actually be getting hit because maybe there is some significant accumulation of troops over here that might actually signifies another offensive over in this region here. So should this be true, I think the Russian war effort is going to be screwed up really, really badly. So otherwise, we have also this very surprising information from the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, where they said that there is private military companies operating in the settlement of Oleksandrivka, which is here. And then they say that these private military contractors suffered significant losses of more than 40%. And but the significant information is the Russians is actually at Oleksandrivka. So that is a surprise to me. And we only know of Enerhodar as captured by Russian forces. We did not know that they actually moved all the way here. So this actually suggests that Oleksandrivka is under Russian control. They have captured it some time ago, and Ivyashkiv and Perovske is probably likely to be under Russian control as well. Otherwise, it's just some bombardments here and there. There is no significant ground offensive here in the Kharkiv Front. The rumors about the capture of Peremoha and Shestakove still remains as a rumor. This is from Intelslava. The Ryba actually mentioned this, but they actually says that they do not have confirmation of these rumors. So currently this will stay as rumors tentatively until we have something more concrete to suggest that they are captured by the Russian forces. So that's all from the weather front here. There is also something from Germany. So the German Defense Ministry, I haven't fact checked this, but this is actually from Intelslava. So I just plot it into the map because it sounds rather significant. The German Defense Ministry mentioned that they have handed to Ukraine an incredible amount of weapons from their reserves. So, and they say that they have reached their limits, which means that the Germans is not going to give any more weapons or ammunition to the Ukrainians. However, the first part of the sentence is quite significant. They actually gave a lot of ammunition and weapons to the Ukrainians, which is something that they had not done so previously for a very long time. So this is a kind of a break from their pattern, and which might suggest why the Ukrainians can launch such a massive offensive across so many fronts, because they really have received a lot of weapon and ammunition from probably not just Germany, but across the entire NATO alliance. And that might also suggest why we have certain reports about Leopard tanks being sighted over here in the Davydiv Brid Front. In the yesterday's summary, I also missed out that there's actually a report of Bradley fighting vehicles being seen in the Kherson offensive as well over here at the southern front. So Bradley fighting vehicles, we really haven't seen these vehicles in any war zones since probably the Iraq war. So this is something, you know, Saddam Hussein era, so in the 90s. But it's a pretty quite cool, you know, infantry fighting vehicle. So interesting to see in action, but we haven't seen any footages or photos of them yet. Similar for the Leopard tank. So these are just rumors, tentatively. Whether they will change the tide of war, maybe because not that the weapons, for example Leopard tank or the Bradley fighting vehicles, it's not that they are so powerful or that they can change the tide of war, but the simply having them in numbers against the Russian forces that are holding the positions, who might not have that much armor or that much equipment to fight against armor, might actually make the difference. So but it remains to be seen, because the Great Kherson Offensive is currently looking very stuck at this moment, because the Ukrainians have not been able to break through Vysokopillya or Olhyne or Arkhanhelske for the past 3-4 days already. They didn't also seem to, you know, take advantage of this area to actually push southwards, and they also never attempted more crossings. Maybe the Russian forces are already not here, they can actually try to cross over there. They never tried. So the crossing is only in this area where they got bombarded and airstrike to hell. So, and this position have not also changed for the past 2-3 days. And similarly in the Mykolaiv Front area, there is also no change for the past 2-3 days, perhaps only for this. So the attempted offensive here also have faded. They already given up on Blahodatne. They have tried so many times trying to capture this small little village, but this small little village seems to be so hard to capture. So the Great Kherson Offensive is currently still ongoing. It's still ongoing. It's probably not going so strong already. It's still strong, but not so strong, because it might be going very strong, but the Russian defending is also going very strong, which is why strong versus strong, you cancel each other. So we shall see whether the Ukrainians can continue to keep up this offensive, or is this just a diversion for this massive Balakliya offensive that is happening over here. That could be so. Then these people who have died some very horrible death for quite sad military objective. So anyway, this is the summary for the day of 195 for the 6th of September, and do check out the Balakliya Offensive video, and I'll see you in the next update.